Hello, this is number 6 in our series about sacred pathways, the different ways that people feel close to God, based on the book of the same name by Gary Thomas. And this time, the pathway is called, or the people are called caregivers, loving God by loving others. Caregivers serve God by serving others. They often claim to see Christ in the poor and needy, and their faith is built up by interacting with other people. Whereas caring for others may wear many of us down, this recharges a caregiver's batteries. Now, the reason I'm coming to you from a closet, from a local church in Spencer, is because this is where many non-perishable food items are stored. And there are a number of people involved during the regular school year when school is actually meeting. The folks pack about 150 plastic grocery bags with these items, and they're taken to elementary schools where students have requested these items because they are food insecure as a family, and the teachers then put those bags in the students' backpacks at a time when other students won't see it happen. Of course, this is just one of hundreds of ways that you can be a caregiver. Caregivers are different from activists because activists are advocating for justice and for changes in society, and caregivers are kind of get down in the nitty-gritty. And the author suggests a lot of different ways for caregiving, including hands-on caring for someone who's sick, or in an ongoing way watching out for a neighbor or a relative who simply needs someone to keep an eye on them, and so on. He says the caregiver temperament incorporates many different avenues of loving God through serving others. Some might interpret giving care as quietly sitting by an elderly person's bed. Others might interpret it as working on a volunteer rescue unit or repairing a house. Activities to consider include adopting a prisoner, helping a friend through a personal crisis, lending money, helping somebody battle substance abuse, volunteering on a rescue squad, helping an illiterate person learn to read, donating time at a battered women's shelter, working in a soup kitchen, fixing somebody's car, repairing a house, and so on. And some people do it through their profession, like those who maybe research cures for diseases. A man named Jean Vanier was a man who established home in France called the Ark for profoundly disabled people. And he became an author and simply a really wise mentor to people who are caregivers. He says, "My heart is transformed by the smile of trust given by some people who are terribly fragile and weak. They call forth new energies from me. They seem to break down barriers and bring me a new freedom. It is the same with the smile of a child. Even the hardest heart can't resist. Contact with people who are weak and who are crying out is one of the most important nourishments in our lives. When we let ourselves be really touched by the gift of their presence, they leave something precious in our hearts." And this speaks to the way that helping others is not simply a one-way exchange. We receive grace and goodness from each other. He continues, "As long as we remain at the level of doing things for people, we tend to stay behind our barriers of superiority. We ought to welcome the gift of the poor with open hands. Jesus says, 'What you do for the least of my brothers, you do for me.'" One of the most famous caregivers is Mother Teresa. And I would recommend her book to you, well, there are a number of books written about her. This one is actually by her. It's called In the Heart of the World. And it just shares thoughts, stories, and prayers. But reading about her and reading her writings is very inspirational if you're a caregiver. And so I'll just share one little story that she tells. One evening we went out and rescued 4 people off the streets. One of them was in a desperate condition. I told the sisters, "You take care of the others. I will care for this one who is worse off." I did everything for her that my love could do. I put her into bed and I saw a beautiful smile light up her face. She squeezed my hand and only managed to say 2 words, "Thank you." And then she closed her eyes. I couldn't help but ask myself there beside her body, what would I have said if I had been in her place? My answer was very simple. I would have said that I was hungry, that I was dying, that I was cold, or I would have said that this or that part of my body hurt or something like that. But she gave me much more. She gave me her grateful love, and she died with a smile on her face. Just like that man we rescued from among the debris in the gutter, who was half eaten by worms, this woman responded in grateful love. That man told us, "I have lived like an animal in the street, but I am going to die like an angel surrounded by love and care." It was marvelous to witness the greatness of a man who could talk like that, who could die that way without cursing anyone, without lashing out at anyone, without drawing any comparisons. He died like an angel. And of course, Mother Teresa has gone on to be with the Lord too. One of the quotes from her that I often remind myself and other people who wonder if what they do makes any difference. She said, "We can do no great things, but we can do small things with great love." And that does make a difference. So if you're a caregiver, I hope this is an encouragement to you today. God bless you.